Hey everyone, I'm Anthony, and this is the Facts on JW, and today we're going to be talking about theocratic war strategy, how no sword forge will be victorious against us, how the Philip Brumley lost his appeal to the federal Supreme Court, and he's now got to pay $150 some odd thousand, and now that this has happened and transpired, everyone's aware that they use theocratic war strategy and lie in courts, just like they did in Canada, talking about they did not shun people, that normal families continue to keep on as normal. So, all of this has been exposed now, so the courts are going to be looking at them when they come into the courtroom as a bunch of liars. Let's do this. It's going to be great. Let's look over what the rulings was, and let's talk about the new Watchtower that's this month, July 2025, to where they're honoring Philip Brumley in it. There he is. They're talking about they're victorious. The same month, he was ruled against and finalized on his appeal. Here we go. Have fun. Hot off the presses, press release. Hypocrisy exposed. Jehovah's Witnesses top lawyers sanctioned for misleading court in CSA cases. And let's take a look here. There he is, the devil himself. The Pure Worship Convention and the new Watchtower that just come out for this month, July 2025, has Philip Brumley. And then the Pure Worship, they're telling nobody to listen to the world. Don't listen to any news people that's talking bad against Jehovah. Don't listen to anybody that says anything about Jehovah. Don't read anything. Only listen to what Watchtower has to say. If it doesn't come from the Watchtower, don't believe it. Don't trust it. Because the enemies are out to get us. They're doing damage control. People today know that Jehovah's Witnesses are a group of people who lie. They use theocratic war strategy to lie to people who are not part of Jehovah's Witnesses. They're very deceiving. They say bring reproach on Jehovah's name. Their name is destroyed. It has been burnt up. That bridge is done. And they know it. Those days of thinking they're just sweet people in suits knocking on doors have long been gone. So let's see what happened to Philip Brumley here. Press release, New York, in a landmark ruling that cuts through decades of institutional denial, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has upheld sanctions against Philip Brumley, long-time general counsel for the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania, after he submitted a sworn affidavit that the court found demonstrated recklessness and disregard for the truth in a case involving CSA within Jehovah's Witnesses congregations. In this article, Jason Wayne is interviewed for insight into the case's implications. Okay, so they're using a consultant here to interview him, and someone, I guess, that knows much about the Jehovah's Witnesses and is probably helping the courts out. So that's becoming pretty commonplace because so many people have exited. So here we go. This is not just legal misconduct. This is institutional betrayal. Philip Brumley's affidavit, central to the organization's failed attempts to dismiss the case for lack of jurisdiction, was crafted to obscure the true role of the Watchtower Corporation arm, or corporate arm, in Montana during the 1970s and 80s, precisely when the abuse occurred. The court determined that this action delayed justice for survivors by more than 17 months and ordered Brumley to personally pay $158,448.11 in legal cost. And I love it. They threw the 11 cents in. Isn't that great? 17 months. This proves right here beyond a shadow of a doubt they have no empathy. They have no heart for any victims. They don't care if they're putting more trauma on these people, how much these people suffer. They don't care. It's all about Watchtower. And that proves it without the shadow of a doubt. Watchtower is in control. Everything you give to Watchtower, your time, your money, your efforts, everything. You only trust Watchtower, you only believe in Watchtower, and you only follow Watchtower. What those men say is the same as Jehovah God saying it himself. And that right there is where they're heading with this. So, it's all about power. This is not just legal misconduct. This is institutional betrayal, said Jason Wayne, a CSA advocate for current and former believing members of Jehovah's Witnesses. For years, Jehovah's Witness leaders like Brumley have publicly condemned the Catholic Church's handling of abuse scandals, while secretly engaging in the same cover-ups, silencing tactics, and legal maneuvering to protect their own reputation. Well, that reputation is destroyed, as we know, but isn't it funny how they always point the finger at Christendom? Everything is about Christendom. But they never point the finger back, but they forget one thing. Every time you point your finger, you got 3 more pointing back at you. So, these guys, they have tooted their own horn long enough. And they talk about reproach on the name. Their reputation's destroyed. And it's destroyed now in the courts. The courts are aware that they lie in court, and they call it theocratic war strategy. They're lying to anyone who is not a Jehovah's Witness and mislead, and they're okay with that. So here we go. Watchtower publications have routinely criticized other religious institutions, particularly the Catholic Church, for failing to protect children from abuse. Yet, internal policies, such as the notorious two-witness rule, have allowed predators within the Jehovah's Witness organization to escape accountability. Survivors who have reported abuse were often shunned or disfellowshipped, and that is a fact. The adult or ones who are in their late teens that have reported it have long been disfellowshipped or kicked out. That's a crying shame. Well, let's see. It was disfellowshipped, shunned. Now it's shunned, disfellowshipped, and removed now. So they say removed. All a bunch of bullcrap. It's the exact same thing. Except now they can say hey to you or say hi at a meeting. But that's the extent of it. Crazy. And there's Brumley'S The Battle Belongs to Jehovah. This is this month's Watchtower. And they're just trying to do damage control with this article. And you can go read it at jw.org. And he actually authorized this. We're going to get into it here. Brumley at the organization's top legal authority helped architect the very culture of legal obstruction that has stifled investigations and re-traumatized victims. His affidavit was not submitted as a neutral fact witness, as he later claimed. It was filed as a calculated legal instrument to prevent survivors from accessing justice. This man tried to stop CSA abuse victims from getting justice? What kind of people are these? Think about that. What kind of sick, twisted mind does something like this? This just proves their days are numbered. You think about it. This was a $35 million lawsuit case. They settled it out of court. Most likely offered them more money than this case because they signed a gag order to keep them from talking, most likely. And That way they can keep on doing what they're doing. They don't have to talk about it. These people, if they do talk about it, lose their money. So they can only do that so much. The Catholic Church has 1 billion members. Think about it. The Jehovah's Witnesses claim they have 8.8 million members. Doubtful, more probably along the lines than 5 to 6 million. But they claim to have 8.8 million members. Now, they've got cases all over the United States, all over Europe, Japan, Australia, and New Zealand of CSA cases all over the place. And that's thousands of cases, worse than the Catholic Church, by far. And the Catholic Church spent out billions. This organization only has a few billion. So stop and think about that. 35 million for one case, and you got 1,000 cases or more? Yeah, you're not going to be around long. All right. Adding insult to injury, Brumley knowing full well that the Ninth Court was weighing his conduct, authored a July 2025 Watchtower article titled, "The Battle Belongs to Jehovah," positioning himself and the Watchtower leadership as righteous victims under spiritual attack. See, that doing damage control. Now, no sword forged, and all the craziness that they teach. What do they do with this one? They're not going to talk about it. And if you hear about it, they're going to say that it's lies. But if they won, they'd tell the whole world. But when it's against them, no. That's a sick, evil, twisted bunch of people these people are. The membership, no. Most of the membership are very good people. They're just blindly following a cult that they believe is true. That's the sad part. But that cult's taken away their free will. It's taken away their critical thinking skills. And they no longer think for themselves. They let Watchtower think for them, only by reading what is within Watchtower. Kind of really sad. All right. This article paints opposition as the battle waged by Satan, was published shortly before the court affirmed his sanctions for misleading conduct in a CSA case. The timing is not coincidence. Oh, it's damage control masquerading as doctrine. See, that's what they do. No, I didn't even read that first. Damage control masquerading as doctrine. So they're just playing damage control. It's and these people will fall for it. This is not a spiritual battle. It's a legal and moral reckoning, said Wayne. While survivors fight for justice in the courts, Brumley fights to protect his image in a magazine. He is preaching faith while evading accountability. This is not faith, it's manipulation. So does that tell you exactly what's going on? They're manipulating their membership and claiming that it's faith and that Satan's after them. But yet, the only wickedness I see is Watchtower. According to Watchtower, God can't be in the presence of a lie, but they lie like crazy. And they call it theocratic warfare because they're doing it because, oh, wait a minute, they were appointed by Jesus in 1914 to be his one true organization. Oh, boy. But prior to that, they preached a totally different doctrine. That was all Rutherford's doings. Okay. Watchtower leaders have long used their literature to discredit critics and shield themselves from scrutiny. Members are conditioned to interpret lawsuits, media investigations, and whistleblower accounts as attacks from the world rather than serious moral failures. There you go. Articles like Brumley's are designed to preemptively dismiss external accountability as spiritual persecution, ensuring followers stay loyal even as the truth comes out. That's actually really sad right there. That they manipulate these people so bad that they play on their spirituality and their faith and cover up such awful behavior, such atrocities. It happens in every church, but that's the way these people go about it is disgusting. If it's not printed in Watchtower, don't believe it. Then they're going and dividing friendships and everything else. These people are just... Anyway, the hypocrisy is staggering. Legal credentials don't make you immune from consequences, and moral posture won't erase complicity in abuse. Jason Wayne. Publishing a spiritual deflection before your court loss isn't just deceitful. It's strategic propaganda, said Wayne. It's a method of inoculating followers against facts. That's actually very true. And it proves yet again that this organization prioritizes control over truth. The hypocrisy is staggering. Brumley wasn't protecting faith, he was protecting power. The ruling should send a clear message. Legal credentials don't make you immune from consequences, and moral posturing won't erase complicity in abuse. Yeah. This decision marks a turning point in holding religious legal operatives accountable for their role in instructing justice. It also lends renewed credibility to survivors who have long claimed that the organization's internal handling of abuse designed not to protect children, but to shield the institute against at all cost. And that is exactly the point. They lie, they manipulate, they cheat, they do everything they can for the organization, and they do not care for the children. What did Let said? These little enemies of God. What kind of person says some sick crap like that? Survivors and advocates call for further investigations, institutional transparency, and for Philip Brumley to step down from all positions of authority within the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses. He must resign not just as general counsel for Watchtower, but as a licensed attorney and as an elder of the Jehovah's Witnesses. He has forfeited the moral, legal, and spiritual credibility required to occupy any position of trust. Continuing to lending advice or represent while carrying this strain is not just unacceptable, it is grotesque. See, there you go. Silence is not neutrality. Misleading the courts is not ministry. And child protection does not begin with public condemnation. It begins with truth, accountability, and positive change. There you go. Jason Wayne, I don't know who you are, but you sound like a wonderful person. So, guys, that's the Watchtower. That's what they're telling people. And for anyone who wants to follow such a awful, corrupt, and evil organization needs to really think about it, especially after this. How could you possibly believe anything Watchtower has to tell you? Just read this. It's mind-boggling. And after this case, here's the good point. All future cases going from this date forward will be looked at very carefully by the court systems, because they know that their answers will be just like the answers they got in Australia when Jeffrey Jackson lied in the courts. And then he said, well, it would be presumptuous to think that they're led by Jehovah. Just like the courts in Canada. Oh, well, normal family relations carry on just because a person is disfellowshipped. Yeah. They could go to the Kingdom Hall as if normal. No. They can't, no one speak to them. They lie. They lie. And they continue to lie. And the governing body is constantly lying. But the good thing is they do a lot of videos and they make a lot of mistakes in those videos. And it's wonderful to see, because it opens people's eyes. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you followed us all the way to the end of this video, do me a favor, man. You like what it's done? What's done here? Ring the bell, subscribe, hit us with a thumbs up. And if you really like it, get us a cup of coffee. We deeply appreciate it. Much love to everybody and peace. Thank you guys all for all the amazing amount of subscribers we've had lately. And all the love and the positive messages we've received. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week, month, whatever time you're watching this. And don't forget, we're here every Sunday between 4 and 4:30 live. And we put videos out at least once to twice a week. So, see you on the next one.